Welcome to Angel Impact, the official podcast of the Wisconsin River Business Angels. Episode 9, Opportunity Analysis, Part 1. Hi, my name is Aaron Marks, and I'm here with the latest episode of Angel Impact. And Angel Impact is the official investment podcast of the Wisconsin River Business Angels, otherwise known as the WRBA. And the WRBA is Central Wisconsin's only angel investment group. And I'm here with the leadership of the WRBA. I'm here with Jeff Ebel, who's the president. How are you, Jeff?
I'm fine, thank you.
Great. Well, it's good to see you. And I'm also here with Leon Ostrowski, and Leon is the chair. How are you, Leon?
Good morning. Good morning, Aaron.
It's good to see you too. So today we're going to get into a bit of the due diligence process, the extensive due diligence process that Jeff and Leon perform on every investment that they offer to their investors. And the due diligence process is one of the things that really sets the WRBA apart in the realm of angel investing for its unusual intensity and its scope and the level of detail that it includes. And so there's 4 major parts to the due diligence, right? If someone could just briefly, talk about that, because we're going to go into detail about one of them. But if someone wants to give the overview of the 4 parts of your due diligence, maybe that would be a good time to do it now, right?
Sure. Why don't you do that, Jeff?
All right. Okay, so we've developed a process with 4 major components in it. The first, and they're actually by priority. So the first most important thing that we look at when we look at an investment is the management team. It doesn't matter how brilliant your product is or how wonderful the opportunity is. If you don't have the horsepower, the team to pull it off, it's for naught. So the first thing we covered that in some previous sessions. And today we're looking at the second most important aspect of that new venture is the market research, the marketing, the opportunity, the size of the opportunity, and there are multiple components of that, and I think we'll be looking at that in multiple sessions. Third, believe it or not, is the product or the service that the entrepreneur is going to be offering, and often the owner, the founder, thinks that that's the most valuable part. But again, as I mentioned, if you don't have a team to successfully commercialize that, it's not worth anything. And then lastly, we'll be looking at resources, because every opportunity needs resources to get off the ground. The founder may already have some of the things he needs: a building, capital assets, whatever. And those things are usually acquirable at various stages as the company develops. So those are the 4 main areas that we look at.
Yeah, and there will be other episodes covering all those, and I believe there are some already that cover some of those in more detail, but we're going to be focusing on the second one, which is the opportunity. And listening to you, Jeff, I was just struck by, being a business owner, an entrepreneur myself, it's like we really fall in love with our concepts and our products, don't we?
Yes, we do. All right, that's our baby.
Yeah, and I know you've worked with so many entrepreneurs and observed them, and in many mentoring and educational settings, and you see that again and again, I bet, right?
Yes. Yeah, too often, and again, I think what we try to do is get them to focus on how does your customer love your product,
right?
And hopefully they love your product as much as you do.
And so and that's such an important element, that you look at that before the product, is what you're saying, and that's the opportunity analysis. So
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and so I want to get Leon here in a bit, but the thing, let's see. So we're calling this part, it's an opportunity analysis to support business development strategy, and that's a lot of words, and I have to admit this is a very technical one, so I'm doing my best with all this. But the first thing we're going to talk about is the different parts of strategic marketing, and I think it's really important to kind of distinguish the way that you guys as angel investors think about that word marketing versus the way that I think most of us do. And it's like a lot of us come from a small business background, and it's like, okay, marketing, it's all the ways that you communicate to prospective and current clients. It's like there's print media, there's traditional media like radio and television. Now there's social media, websites. So it's like when I hear marketing, I tend to think of that stuff. But what do you guys mean when you say strategic marketing? whoever wants to pick that up.
When I look at strategic marketing, I'll take that, Aaron.
Yeah.
I'm looking at something that's trying to characterize all dimensions of the business and where it might fail. It's not only driven by what the customer needs are. You need to understand that, and you need to understand it in depth and what it's worth to that customer to use your product. And you need to understand how you're going to implement that. When you talk about the strategic side of it, you're trying to understand all the business, and then that should allow you to write a strategy for that business that may be 2 to 5 years looking into the future. Then there's operational marketing, and that's taking all that back to the current budget and implementing it to the next year to 2 years. So those are the two dimensions. And we're talking about the strategic side. So we really want to understand all dimensions of that business and that opportunity. And to do that, we go through a series of steps. And Jeff, why don't you sort of characterize those dimensions, if you will, that we see on the marketing side?
Sure, and I think to kind of help you wrap your head around it, there's three main stages, and of course they're so intertwined, hard to separate them. But there's the massive research at the front end, and research. You can, how do they say, paralysis by analysis? It's not even analysis. This is just gathering data. What's out there? Who has the data? Who do I need to talk to? Who do I see? And there's a very strategic approach to that step. Again, you can shotgun it and you can say, well, I'm going to talk to 1,000 people about it. Okay, then you have 1,000 sources of data that you have to analyze and sort through. Or you can say, who specifically could I talk to that could really provide the most value for me in my research with the least amount of time and effort and money? So that research is important. The next stage, and actually this is done at the same time, is the analysis of that data that you collect. What does it mean? And this, again, is a completely different skill set required to take a look at the data and make sense out of the data, make actionable sense. How will this help me build a successful company? And then based on the results of those, you form your marketing strategy, which is, again, the proactive approach to the market. How am I going to talk to them? Who specifically am I going to talk to? So you're not talking to the world, you're talking to a very specific identified segment of a market. And how should I communicate? So market segmentation, and then the market segmentation will determine the message that you're using to reach that target customer. So those are the three main stages that we look at, that we go through, and again, they're all intertwined. They're all done kind of simultaneously, but they're very specific functions within that whole strategic marketing plan process.
Right. And so, yeah, just tell me if I have this right. So those three components, the research, the analysis, and the strategy, which are often intertwined, those make up what you call the opportunity analysis. Is that correct?
Let me take that one dimension here. What we
Sure.
really want to do is take a look at that opportunity, and that opportunity, just as has been described by Jeff, captures all the internal information and the things you can find very readily through literature search. That in turn allows you to do a preliminary analysis and identify what's the most critical stages and steps in this process that would be subject to defeating us. And those are the things we want to attack first, because if we find that we attack some mundane stuff, we're wasting our time. Let's get to where it's critical so we know whether we got a winner or loser, and let's get that identified real quick. But in order to do that, we want to segment that opportunity. And what we normally find is the business or the entrepreneur is looking at multiple opportunities. They don't realize it because they're looking at it from their service or product, and it goes to many applications. And what they normally see is the biggest, highest volume opportunity, and that's usually the lowest value. So that's not where you want to start with a young opportunity. There's some high value, lower numbers, which has much more opportunity to create some higher value business. And that allows you to take some money to the bank while you're growing the business in its young stage. Then you go on to the middle markets that have the next highest value and the lower volume. And then you start applying this opportunity analysis to those highest value segment, one segment typically. and you study that. Because if there isn't any value in that highest value segment, your chances of succeeding on all the future ones are going to be very low probability. So don't waste your time looking at all those areas, because what happens is there's different requirements at each one of those. And if the entrepreneur starts hearing the requirements for the high value and then the high volume, then they start making a big mixture of everything into their opportunity that they're offering, which doesn't meet anybody's needs. So you got to be very specific to the product and the marketing, tie those together, and we define those very specifically.
Yeah. And I think, just the general theme I hear over and over talking to you guys about, the depth and the intensity of this process is that uh, angel investing is looking for a very specific kind of company, that can scale to a very specific level and create a very specific level of profitability that makes it worthy of angel investment, right? And it's the opportunity analysis that's used to really figure out where that is and figure out if the company that you're looking at is a candidate for that. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got it. And I think the other thing is we are typically looking for opportunities that you make a product or a service that can go beyond the boundaries of the local area, say
Right.
central Wisconsin, and
Yeah.
it's probably usable elsewhere in the country,
Hmm.
maybe throughout the country and the world.
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity for the business to be scaled to be very large in size, rapid in growth, and profitable.
Right. Right. Yeah. Okay. I think that was a great summary of the opportunity analysis and how you use it to discern those companies that are candidates for angel investment. And I think we're going to come back and do a second episode about this. And I think what I'd like to hear about in that episode is how does the opportunity analysis help entrepreneurs deal with their inherent biases about their company? Because I know that's a major theme that this sort of maybe sniffs out a little bit and deals with. So my name's Aaron Marks, and we'll be back with you in the next episode of Angel Impact, where we're going to look a little bit more at opportunity analysis and those different components and how they help deal with bias, that creeps into everyone's entrepreneurial thinking when we're not really objective about it. So again, my name is Aaron Marks. I've been with Jeff Ebel, who's the president of the WRBA, and Leanna Strowski, who's the chair of the WRBA. And Angel Impact is the official investment podcast of the WRBA. We'll see you next time, everyone. Thanks for listening to Angel Impact, the official podcast of the Wisconsin River Business Angels. To learn more about the Wisconsin River Business Angels, visit the website at www.midwestwealthventures.com or find us on Facebook.